Anyway, now that winter's fast approaching, I thought I'd do a 5-part series of videos to just help you understand what you need to be doing to really improve your game, take it to another level, ready for the season next year. So a lot of people tend to put their things away in winter, but what a great opportunity it is to learn and improve, and then you're ready for next spring. So what I want to do in this first video is just talk about the grip and the posture. Posture really gets us the correct distance from the golf ball every time. Really important to make sure that you're doing it properly so that your body moves efficiently, and very simple to do once you know how. So let's see how we get on with this. So starting with the grip, a lot of people will tell you to grip the club in a neutral way. So you've got to see 2 knuckles on your left hand and so on and so forth. Now I don't agree with that, and the reason I don't agree with that is because it doesn't take into account people's posture, and I'm going to talk back and shoulder posture. So if your back's quite rounded, what's going to happen is your arms are going to point inwards slightly. Now if they are pointing inwards from here and you try and get into a neutral grip, can you see how now there becomes a separation between the elbows, which isn't necessarily correct? And likewise, if you have a really straight back, your hands will point out straighter from here, and then if you try and put it into a neutral grip, your arms will appear to come together. So I don't believe in a neutral grip, I believe in a natural grip. So it's natural for you, not for anybody else. So let's just show you quickly how we can achieve that. So if you stand nice and tall, let your arms hang by your side, and literally all we're doing from here is just bringing the hands together so they'll meet in front of you. So I'm not kind of tucking my right arm under, for instance. My left arm's not coming over as a right-handed golfer, or I'm not kind of coming over too much this way and getting in an awkward position here. I'm literally just letting my hands hang and bring them together. Now on your, there is an important place to make sure that you're holding this correctly. Now on your top hand, there's a crease just above your little finger, and there's a crease here in your index finger. Now ideally we want the club to go across those 2 points, but what we have to try and avoid is getting the club going up the palm of the hands. If it goes up the palm of the hands, it leaves a little gap here, and then from here you can't use your wrist very well in the backswing, and it will restrict how far you can hit the golf ball. So it really is just that little crease just above your little finger. Let the club sit in there. Thumb sits towards the top of the golf club. The reason for that is that it supports the golf club at the top of your backswing. That's why we want the thumb either on top or just slightly to the side. No problem at all with that one. So in terms of grip tension, again, let's keep that to a minimum. I want it to feel nice and relaxed. I definitely don't want to see you tight. Now on your bottom hand, I don't care if you have what I call a split grip, so your hands are, all your fingers are on the golf club. I don't mind if you interlock the grip where your little finger and your index finger interlock, or I don't mind if you overlap the golf grip. All of those work for me. What's important is it must be natural for you. Now on your right hand, what we're looking to achieve, if possible, is where your 2 middle fingers join your hand, there's a crease there. Ideally we want the club to sit in that crease and then wrap over. So I'm still coming in with a natural grip, but I'm just making sure that it goes in the right place. If I get it too much up the palm of the hand, this creates a thing, I call it long finger, and it looks like your fingers are really long but they're not holding onto the club very well. So I don't really like that look on a grip. I prefer it just where your fingers join your hand, and then your fingertips will wrap around the golf grip, which is a great way of holding it. On your index finger, again, there's a little crease here, so it's the second one from the tip of your finger, and again, ideally it's good if you could get that club to sit in there. It's called a trigger finger, and it creates like a little gap between your index finger and your next one, and it looks like you could pull the trigger of a gun. Very stable. It actually secures against this part of your index finger, it pushes against that one, and then your thumb just naturally sits on the side of the golf club, and it creates this lovely V shape. But remember, we don't have to get that pointed to your chin or your right shoulder. It's where it's natural for you. So if I was just putting my grip on from here, my hands hanging naturally, I'll put it in roughly at 45 degrees, bring that back round. My right hand's relaxed, just bring that one on. And I like the overlap grip, or a Varden grip as it's known. That works for me, but I don't mind any of the grips, whichever one suits you best. So the reason the grip's pretty important is you're only linked with the golf club, and that gives us control of the club face. So if you've got control of this, you're on a winner. So let's say now that you're happy with your golf grip, and the best way to practice this, remember, is just to do it at home. Just get a club near you and just keep putting your hands on so that it starts to feel really natural. So if you're happy with that one, I'll just show you now how to get the right distance from the golf ball. So let's talk now about what we call posture, otherwise known as getting the right distance from the golf ball, or setup. Now a lot of people that I see playing golf on the range, there's quite a few playing here in Coventry today, and I'm seeing a lot of poor postures. People look very comfortable over the ball, but not necessarily correct. And what I see far too often is people put the club next to the ball, they put the feet in, and they think they're the right distance from the golf ball, and then they'll just kind of fiddle around with the body until it feels right. But that's not the right way of doing it. So let me show you this routine, and initially it feels like, oh my God, I've got to think about quite a lot, but before you know it, it just turns into a very quick routine that takes less than a second to do, but you're always going to be the right distance from the golf ball, which is so important. So what I'm going to do is stand up nice and tall, and I've deliberately stood too far away from the golf ball, arms out in front, so I'm just naturally holding my golf club, arms out in front, and just relax them on your body. So make sure that you don't have the club parallel to the ground, just let this hang, let gravity do its job. Now what's important from here, we're going to bend forward from your hips until the club hits the floor. So we're relaxed here, we bend forward till it hits the floor. Once it's hit the floor, we then just relax the knees, so they're not bent, they're not straight, they're just nice and relaxed. And where that club sits is where the golf ball should be. So all I'm going to do now is just nudge my feet to the golf ball, and now I'm the correct distance. Arms, hips, knees. Now another question that I get asked quite a lot, should my weight be on my toes, on my heels, or centered? And the simple answer is centered. So if you could imagine somebody pushing you into the ground, I want you to feel rock solid. I don't want you one way or the other. This way you're in balance and you can move so much better this way. So let me just double check that again. So arms, hips, knees, and relax. Now I saw, it was actually in David Ledbetter's book, he was doing the same kind of thing, but he did it in a different order. He went arms, knees, and then bend forward from your hips. Now the reason I don't like that, because most people will go from arms, knees, and they'll never actually bend forward. So I prefer to do it a slightly different way. Arms, hips, knees, top, middle, bottom, and now you're going to be at the perfect distance from the golf ball. So arms, hips, knees. The other cool thing about this exercise, it also gives you the correct ball position for you. So we're not trying to find a ball position, we're just letting it sit. And just put my ball in here. So we're just letting it sit. And this you're never going to be too far off if you follow this simple methodology. So it's a routine that if you get really comfortable at, you're always going to be correct. Now the other cool thing about this is when you're in this position, you're actually in a weightlifting position. One way you could hold a heavy weight, somebody could push this down, but you're really strong from here. So when you start to push the arms away, you're going to be off balance. Or if you just sit down here, which we see quite a lot of ladies do, they tend to sit just with the knees. Now the back's too upright, and that's going to have an effect on your golf swing. So two things that are really important, and you can easily practice these at home, is the grip, making sure you're gripping it natural, not neutral, and then go through the posture, the setup, if you want to call it that one. But this is going to make such a big difference to the rest of the swing. So we can, it's a bit like building a house. We're trying to create foundations so we can put the wall and the roof on. if the foundations fall apart, so's the swing. So let's get this bit right first, and then we'll move on to start the golfing. So this is video number 1. I'm going to put every day for a week, for 5 days. I'm going to put the next videos on, but I'm not going to release them all, so that you can go through them one at a time, so you can really help to improve your golf game over winter. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.